Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online Let's Talk video. Today I'm going to make a short video just to apologize to the in-game community because the videos I've been making lately, I know it's right on the boundaries of the gray area that I promised I would not cross, and I'm sorry if I did. To the elitist people though that like to come to my channel and give me a hard time because I don't see the game from the in-game perspective because I'm not an in-game player. Please understand, I know what the meta is. I do. I learned from the best. Okay? I learned from people in Hodor how to be a meta player. I learned from people like Deltia, Outcast, Asian God, the people who play in-game. I know what in-game is. I know all the builds for in-game, inside and out. The reason I do the videos I do is to let people know that there is more to this game than end game. Because not everyone plays that way. Not everyone plays the game for that purpose. And the devs gave us a lot of tools to play how we want. And when I said that ESO wasn't designed to have a meta, it really wasn't. It was designed for people to play how they want. They created the meta. The in-game players did. They created the meta because that's what players do. They create that stuff. And I get it. But when you come to my channel and you threaten me or yell at me or cuss at me because I'm some person that doesn't understand, I do. See, I learned from them on how to create builds. And I use a lot of their input and knowledge that they taught me to create the builds I do. So I'm not making bad builds. So I can make good builds for people to use to play the content the way they want. And I'm just sharing ideas because a build is just an idea. It's a theory that you put together and then you test and you play. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, then it doesn't. Then you create a new one. But I don't share any idea I don't test. See, I test every single build I make. And I test it with the content that I play. Which is everything. From dungeons to trials. Everything. And when you say in-game, a lot of people are talking about the competitive in-game. And I have a clear understanding of what competitive in-game is. I'm not an in-game player. I'm not a competitive player. I am a casual player. I am a role player. I do everything. All of my characters have fantasy names for a reason. Because I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. The original Elder Scrolls games were based on Dungeons and Dragons design. How do I know? You can't hide it. When you're a D&D player, you know everything that's created from D&D. Because they use the same formula. And that's what a lot of companies did. When massive multiplayer online games were created, Meridian 59 was based on Dungeons and Dragons. The Realm Online was based on Dungeons and Dragons. And it's because what they were trying to do was they were trying to recreate an online fantasy role-playing game that was like Dungeons and Dragons, because that's what they played growing up. And they really loved it because it allowed your imagination to be the character you wanted to be. But when you could visualize it, that's when the game got exciting. That's when the game became more than just a game. It became a fun adventure. And that's why a lot of us like ESO, is because it's like Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I'll admit, I don't run trials on a regular basis like most in-game players. I run them on occasion. And that's only if somebody needs help with it or if I need something from it. Otherwise, I don't focus on end-game. And the reason I don't is because I don't play end-game. I'm not there to get the best scores. And I've even stated I don't like having leaderboards in there because I don't like the competitive aspect, because that creates a lot of negativity at the end game. Do you ever wonder why I'm getting attacked so much from these players? And why I get so frustrated and I make the videos I do sometimes is because I get tired of them coming to me and acting like I'm some idiot. See, I know the meta. I know the meta because I've watched the meta. I learned the meta. I don't play the meta not because I don't like it, because it doesn't fit my preferred playstyle. That's it. I will play the meta if I need to. If I truly need to play the meta, I will. Do I like it? No. Why? I just don't. I don't like those kind of restrictions put on me. Because this is Elder Scrolls Online. And Elder Scrolls Online is a play how you want game. And that's what makes it such a fantastic game for people like me. Because it allows us to roleplay our characters in the game. And not roleplay like theatrical roleplay. Those are different types of players. There's role players, and then there is RPers. Okay? A role player is somebody who makes a character based on an idea. And then they play that character to the best they can with the tools they have available. An RPer is somebody who role plays within the game's world in a theatrical way. That means they act out the different ways of playing. And I could have them backwards. Honestly, I could. But there is a difference between role players and RPers. Okay? There is a big difference. Role players just create a character with a name, an idea, like, oh, you know what, I want to be a wood elf because I like the wood elf race. And I like this idea. You know, I'm going to pick a Templar, and I'm going to put this story behind my character of the reason why they became a Templar. Because this character wanted to be one of the knights that worked with Queen Irene. You know, was like a guard for Queen Irene. But she found out she had this special power. And she wound up following in this other way, this other path. And that's how she became the character she is today. Because that's what role-playing is. See, role-playing is just playing the game. It's using the tools available to you to play the game. That's it. And when people think that I'm dissing on the meta, I'm not. I don't play end game only. I don't focus on it. Because I play the whole entire game. And if I need to play end game at the meta level because I want to do score runs, I will. And I can. I just choose not to. And every time I make a video, the reason I get frustrated when I make videos is because I know as soon as I post the video, I'm going to get slandered by 50 people telling me that I'm an idiot and I don't understand the game. And it just gets annoying. It gets annoying when people sit there and slam you constantly. And it's not just one person, it's like 50 to 100 people sometimes. Sometimes it can even be 1,000 people. And the reason you don't see the comments is because, see, YouTube allows me to block certain things. I can block certain words and everything like that. And when I reply to people and I say, hey, thanks for your comment, your opinion on this, that's me actually saying, I get what you're saying. Like, I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just showing people the game and its design. Like, that's just the way I do it. I'm not going to sit there and go through an argument with them or fight with them or say, oh, I get it. I know what the meta is. Like, I'm telling people, like, a meta means this. This is what it means. And in order to play to the best you can, you have to use the tools available to do that. But I knew that when I was making that video that there would be a lot of backlash for what my explanation was. I didn't expect the kind of backlash I got. Because as soon as I posted the video, within 30 minutes of posting it, I was getting harassed. Like, harassed by people with using a lot of vulgar language. And I have all vulgar language blocked. And now you might see some comments with like one word in there, like, oh, this dude's being a... And I'm not going to say it. Or this person, you know, or quit being a kind of thing. I might let that through. But if it's got a lot of vulgarity in it, I'm not letting it through. If it's got a lot of things that says, like, go kill yourself this way specifically because you're ruining the end game, I'm not going to let it through. Because that person was directing that at me, not at the rest of the community. So if they're going to direct it at me, I'm the only one who needs to see it. Because I'm not going to share with the rest of the community the kind of stuff I have to deal with on a regular basis. Because people don't know what I deal with on a regular basis. They don't realize I get 300 comments to some of these videos telling me that there's things I need to do to myself because I'm so stupid. I respect the in-game players like Alcast because he's the one who taught me how to learn the game. It's people like him. I watch all their videos. Do I agree with everything they say? No. Why? Because I'm not an in-game player. So I don't agree. And I laugh at some of the things they say because I'm like... And it's because of this. Here's why it's so hard to make a YouTube video. Even if you script the stuff you say, there is going to be times you will slip up. And you will say something that makes you sound ignorant or makes you sound like an asshole. Okay? Yesterday, when I made the video, said, let's get the facts straight, I was doing that because I was getting the facts straight. I was pissed off. I had had enough. I was tired of these elitist jerks coming to my channel and attacking me because they don't like what I do. They don't like that I share the idea of the game. They want me to share the meta only because to them, that's the only way you can play. These guys know. Like the people who play the meta, they know there is a lot of different ways you can play the game. But if you want to play the best you can, you have to play in-game. Like you have to play at their level. And I've even stated, you can't, not everyone can play at their level. And it's not because they can't, they just can't physically. They don't have the hand-eye coordination. They don't have the ability to play that good. So what do? They make that same build and they go to do a trial and they can't do it because their DPS is lower than everybody else's and they get kicked from the group. Why? Because they're not as good as them. And they're not good at the people that kick them from the group are the people being jerks. Because they don't want to take the time to understand that not everyone can play at that level. I understand that. I'm one of those people. I know I am. Because, see, I have a condition. It's called tremors. You guys ever heard of this? No? Let me explain it to you. You guys ever seen the old Wile E. Coyote cartoon where he eats the earthquake pills and he starts vibrating all the time? That's me. Yeah, it's kind of like Parkinson's. I shake all the time. You scare me, I shake worse. My adrenaline gets going, I shake worse. I cannot control it. It is physically impossible for me to control it. There is no medicines I can take to control it. Because it is something that is wrong with my body. Because I was hit by a car when I was 5 years old. 5. I was turning 6. I turned 6 while I was in the hospital. I had gotten hit by a car. The car did damage to my neck because of the way it spun my body and it threw my head onto the hood of the car. Because I was a short little kid. And you're talking about a 1973, like, Buick. You guys know what those cars are? They're huge boats. It was like one of those cars that hit me. Going, I think they estimated it was going 45 miles an hour or something like that when it hit me. Even hitting the brakes. Because it launched me through the air 25 or 50 feet, I don't remember. And I landed on the top of my head. I cannot play physically at their level. I do not have the skill to do it. I make too many mistakes. Can I tank? Yes. Why? Because it's easy to do. I don't have to focus on a rotation. I just have to focus on being a tank. That's why I play a tank. I try to play damage dealing, but my hand-eye coordination isn't that good. Because I shake all the time. Here, I'm going to give you guys a sample. That's me holding my mouse up a little bit. Okay? Now this is me holding my mouse stable because I have to stabilize my hand in order to play. And I had to train myself to do this. I had to train myself to learn to play like this, with this disability. But I don't consider it a disability. You know what I consider it? It's just me. I'm not perfect. Now, why am I sharing with you guys this stuff? Because I can't play to the same level the in-game players can, and I know I can't. And it bugs me that I can't. But at the same time, I know what's available in the game and what I can play because I learned from them. I learned how to play the game and to master my ability of play with the characters I play. Now, when I share ideas with the rest of the community, that's what they are. They are ideas for them to look at and say, you know what, I like this idea, I'm going to use it. But you know what, I'm going to alter some stuff about it to fit my play style. Because that's what ESO is designed for. If you look at ESO from a design perspective, it is truly designed to play how you want. But that's enough. I'm not going to go into explaining any more because I've already done that. Instead, I want to do this. To the in-game players, Outcast, Asian God, anyone else that understands what I'm trying to say here, I'm sorry if I crossed that boundary. I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to share with the community the idea of the game. And if I came off as the wrong, well, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to. I was trying to explain what different things meant and word it in a way that was understandable. So this way there is no difference between meta and meta, because a meta is the most effective tactic available. These guys play an end-game meta. They are playing the most effective tactic available at in-game. I know that. Because I've tried playing other things to be as effective as them. You can't. Because you can't do the math that they have in that build, in that setup. But it doesn't mean you can't use other tools to mimic it and play how you want. You can. And just like with anything, you can play how you want through the whole entire game, including trials. But you cannot do score runs like these guys can. I know that. And I don't need to be reminded on a daily basis that I know that. Okay? Because it's kind of getting to the serious here. This is getting really serious. This is like broken record syndrome. These guys are constantly attacking me. Like, and they're not attacking me. They're just constantly hounding me and harassing me. And it's just like, oh my God, guys, I know the game. I understand. I'm just showing it from my perspective, the game. Because that's what it is. It's my perspective. I see the game in its design form. I don't see the game as an in-game player because I don't focus on in-game. I don't care about in-game. I do, but I don't. I mean, I want to be that good, but I know I'll never be that good. So I can only do what I can do. So I have to play the game how I want because I'm not that good. And I'm not going to get in one of their guilds to prove I'm not that good. Now, when people say, can you tank with the rest of the staff? Yes, you can. Why? Because the game allows it. Is it ineffective? No, it's effective. It's just you have to know how to play it. Just like with any tool, you have to learn how to play with those tools within the content of the game's design. Otherwise, you're not really playing the game. You're trying to play the game, but you don't understand it. And if you don't understand it, let me teach you. Let Asian God teach you. Let Outcast teach you. Let any of us content creators teach you what we know. Because that's what we do. We are here to help you understand the game. Some of us have different perspectives on what we consider in-game. Outcast says in-game for him, and he said this in a recent video, which go watch, it's awesome. He says in-game for him is Dungeons and Trials because to him, the veteran content is the hardest content in the game. And to him, that means it's in-game. I get it. I do. But to me, the whole game is in-game. And that's how I see the game. Because I have a different perspective than he does. I'm pretty sure Asian God feels the same way Outcast does. But the reason I feel like the whole game is in-game is because you can use everything you get in the game at any time throughout the game. So the whole game, to me, is in-game. Dungeons, trials, world bosses, delves, public dungeons, it doesn't matter. Because whatever I can do to have fun in this game, I'm going to do. The other thing you have to understand is, I am a role player. I'm not an RPer, I am a role player. So everything I do is based on role playing. All my character builds are based on role playing. They're not RPing, not being one of those people who theatrically replays their character inside the game, but one of those people who role plays their character. That means gives them a name that fits their thing. Like this character is Elysia Windrunner. She's a wood elf, and I thought that was a cool name for a wood elf. She's a Templar. She became a Templar, not by choice. She was born as a Templar. She had the abilities of the Templar. And as she progressed through the story of the main game, I came up with this fantastic idea of how Meridia made her one of her chosen, not like Darien, but one of her chosen protectors. And I've played her that way ever since. Because that felt right to me. Okay? And I have played her with the same build. Usually I run a two-handed weapon. But I switched to sword and board because I was doing Maelstrom Arena, and I have an easier time playing Maelstrom Arena with a sword and shield than I do with a two-handed. And I'm trying to get through Maelstrom Arena. I'm still trying, okay? I've been playing this game for 4 years almost. And I can't beat Maelstrom Arena. Do you know why? I don't have the skill most people do. I have to play the tactics of the game. That means I have to play against their tactics in that game with the tools I have available, and I have to master how to do that in that content. I have to learn those mechanics so well because I don't play at other people's skill level. And yeah, I'm going to do it with my tank. Why? Because that's the character I'm most comfortable playing in that kind of content. If I have to adjust things to where she's less tank, more damage, I will do that. And if that makes me get through the content easier, then that's what helps me get through the content easier. And am I playing the game wrong? No. Because there is no way to play this game wrong. Everyone assumes there's a way to play wrong. And even Outcast says, that he thinks that people like me are playing the game wrong. And that's fine. That's his opinion. We see things from a different perspective. I don't disrespect him because he sees in a different opinion. Do I agree with him all the time? No. But that's not disrespect. That's disagreement. Disrespect would be me saying something like Outcast is an idiot. But he's not. He's actually really, really intelligent. And he knows the end game. Because he plays it all the time. Him and his guild are usually the top guild to run the trials as soon as they hit. And all the dungeons. These guys are smart. They know what they're talking about. But what gets to me about them, and I'll be honest, this is what I disagree with, is when they tell people that this is the best in slot gear you can use, period. Like you can't use it. You shouldn't be using anything else. And Outcast does do that from time to time, and I just don't agree with that. Because I think every gear set in the game is viable. I think every gear set, every enchant, every tool in the game is viable. In one way, shape, or form. Because you can always find viability in something. Now, do I say that Outcast is stupid and dumb? No. And I joke about it all the time. I joke about it with my friends and my sister and my brother-in-law. We joke about Outcast all the time. Not to be negative, because it's just normal for people to do that. Like, we'll be like, yeah, did you see Outcast's latest video? Yeah, did you hear what he said? Yeah. And Outcast he has a different perspective, and that's cool. That we all have different perspectives. I mean, Zynote has a different perspective. Even though he is an in-game player, he's not a hardcore in-game player. He knows what's available to use in the game, and he uses the tools that he thinks are best for him. And he shares that with the community. Because he creates builds just like I do. But he focuses more towards the end game. Okay? Like creating builds for doing trials at the most difficult level. I don't. I focus on doing trials at normal and veteran level. because that's the level I play at. Can I do hard mode trials? I'm sure I could if I wanted to put in the effort. Could I do it with a resto staff and tank? Probably. Just give me the time and effort. Will I be as effective as the meta? Probably not, because you can't recreate the meta, because there's certain tools within the meta that are restricted to certain tools. Like Alkosh is restricted to medium armor only. You can only get Alkosh in medium armor with those exact stats on it. You can't get there isn't a sister version in light armor, there isn't a sister version in heavy armor, there isn't a sister version anywhere else. That is the only way you can get Alkosh, the Roar of Alkosh thing. And just like with Eben, it's only on Eben armor. The thing that gives health to the whole group, it's only on Eben armor. And because of that, because we have all these restrictions, it's like because of the design of the game. You got to remember, the developers can only add so much. They put the tools in the game. They're the ones who created all the tools. We have to use the tools that are available. Period. End of story. We can't do that if we don't have sister sets that mimic what they do in other ways. We have to use what's there. And when you use Eben armor on a tank, is that a good idea? Well, mathematically, yes, it is. But it doesn't mean you have to. Anyone can wear it. Literally anyone. Because it's just a heavy armor set. It doesn't say it's a light armor set or a medium armor set or whatever. It's a heavy armor set. It was designed that way. So you got to figure out a way to make that fit into your build. Whether you're a magic DPS, stamina DPS, tank, or healer. And you can do that. You can do that. And you can physically use it in a group at any time. And yes, it is viable. Why? Because of how it works. It's designed to be viable. Is it effective for anyone to use it? Well, yeah. But isn't that a bad idea? Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I only know the meta formula. Because that's the one I know. How? Go look. These guys broke the game to figure it out. And that's no lie. That's a fact. These guys figured it out. They took the tools that were most effective for a group dynamic and put them together and said, this is going to work best. Now, do they use all the tools that are most effective all the time? No. But they change their tools constantly. Why? Because they find new ways to play the content with other tools, and they start utilizing those tools. And they share those ideas with the community all the time. And every time they come up with a new idea, I look at it and say, you know, that's not a bad idea. Like, that's a really cool, I like that idea. But I also think that this is another tool I want to have available to me for this situation, or this tool for this situation. That's a really cool idea. And yes, I have played trials, guys. Not every trial, okay? But I have tried every trial in the game, okay? On both normal and veteran. And that's the honest truth. I have tried every trial in the game on normal and veteran. I have played this character in every trial and stuff. The only one that this character has completed, and not because of the group or whatever, it's because the groups I was playing with were pickup groups. Every group I've ever been in a trial has been a pickup group. Because every time I ask anyone if they want to do a trial, they're like, no, I want to stay away from that. I don't want to deal with that. And what they're talking about is they're talking about the people that have been harassing me. These elite players who think that the meta is the only way. See, and that's what does hurt a game. When you have a bunch of people who are basically bullying everyone to play the meta, because that's what they want. They want you to play the meta. And the meta people who created the meta know that there's going to be people like that. They do. But they can't control how other people are. The only thing they can do is say, here, you know, this is what I got. And then they kind of have to sit back and watch as this aftermath of these people start trying to turn everybody's idea to theirs. And it's like, wow, you just messed up. Because that's not what I'm saying. Like, if you want to play at the top of your game and get the best scores, yes, you play the meta. But here is one factual truth, and this is a fact. Nobody truly knows if the meta is the most effective tool or group design. And the reason why is because there is a lot of math in the game. And to try and figure out every possible variation of a group dynamic and to mathematically test it is really hard. It is practically impossible. Because even if you just use what's within the meta, the sets within the meta, and you break it down, and you flip-flop things around between the group, and you use different classes and different things, there is no telling what the variables are going to end up as, because every class is different and has different tools. So like when people say, yes, you can play an in-game healer as a Nightblade, you can. It's not as effective as the meta, but you can. Do you have to follow the meta rule with the healer? No, because there's a lot of different tools in the game that allow you to heal in the game. And you get to decide on how to do that. But if you want to play the meta, go play it. I'm not stopping you. In fact, I'll even point you in the direction. You want to learn from the best? Go watch Alcast's stuff. And if you click on Alcast's videos, a lot of times it'll link you to the people he plays with. I don't know why, but it does. And it's other people from Hodor who post videos. If not, go get on the Tank Discord and learn from them. Because those guys mostly play the meta. I don't focus on the meta. I'm a casual player. And that's what I'm going to focus on with my channel, is the casual player. And I'm going to share my ideas with them. And here's the thing you have to understand, is if I share an idea and I say it is trial viable, it is trial viable. Because you cannot make that build any other way. Okay? Because you can't give it any stats, any better kind of setup, whatever. You can change the setup, but that's it. But when I say something's trial viable, it is using the best equipment it has available. How do I know? I built it that way. I built it with the best tools available to me. And I'm utilizing the tools available to me to create the idea of how you can play. So when you say I don't know what I'm talking about and that I'm misleading the community, I'm not. I'm not misleading anyone. I'm just not a meta player. I'm an in-game player, but I'm not an end-game player. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not a meta player. I'm an in-game player, but I don't play that way. And that's because I can't physically. I'm not that good. I wish I was. I really do. But unfortunately, I'm not. It's something I have to live with. And you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind that I'm not as good as Alcast and all them. Because I can still do the content. Because I still have viable builds for it. And if I want to make the meta build, I could do that. But why do that when I'm already enjoying what I play? Because it's better? I don't care. I honestly don't. Because I'm not here for score runs. I'm not here to be the best I can be. I'm here to be the best I want to be. Because I like my characters the way I like them. And I'm going to share what I like with the community, regardless of what you might say. So again, to all the in-game players, and you know who you are, the in-game players, I'm sorry if I offended you. I wasn't trying to. I was trying to share the knowledge of the game and give people a perspective of the game that I see. That's it. And if you think that what I did was offensive, it was nowhere as offensive as what happened to me. I promise you that. Because I didn't go ballistic and start cussing you out and yelling at you and threatening you and even telling you you should kill yourself and a lot of other things. And when you start getting harassed like this, and it's not one harassment or two harassments, we're talking like thousands of messages. And some of them, yes, I did report. Some I didn't. Some I just was like, you know what? I don't even want to see it. Delete, delete, delete. Like, I'm not letting this through. Some of the people I actually physically blocked from my channel because of how vulgar they were and what they said. But I still respect their input. I understand where they're coming from. Okay? But being that way towards other people is just wrong. All right? Because you set them off. And when you set them off, you are going to start a problem. And it's going to be a problem you're not going to want to fix. And see, I'm coming in to fix the problem, because that's who I am. I'm coming in to apologize for being a dick and an asshole to the in-game community, not to the elitist jerks who think that the meta is the only way to play, but to the in-game community that I have respect for. Because I have a rule too. You piss me off, you push my buttons, yeah, that's it. It's on like Donkey Kong. Because I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to put up with it. You piss me off, I'm going to bite back. And don't let me bite back, because it just makes me look stupid sometimes. Like that video yesterday. Now, am I going to take that video down? No. Why? Because people need to see who I am. Why do they need to see who you are? Because that's who I am. I cannot hide behind a curtain. I am not the Wizard of Oz. I am Sherman from Sherman's Gaming. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, you can hit the like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you in game. Bye.